Hi everybody and welcome to From Shambles to Shambhala. We're in this beautiful wild place called Griffith's Bog, which is in the Leo landscape, the sign of Leo imprinted on the land. And we are deeply into the sun sign of Leo right now. And last month I talked about the Barbault's basket, which was a beautiful alignment between the outer planets and Jupiter, to create this profound sacred geometrical structure, which Andre Barbault said was going to be the most significant astrological alignment of this century for our benefit, to dissolve away all the old and to welcome in the new. He called it a splendid relaunch. And this was all happening July 19th to 21, and it was very precise. Let's imagine these four planets that have really long cycles. Uranus 84 years, Neptune 165, Pluto 250, and Jupiter just 12 years. And yes, they all came into this precise 4 degrees of the sign that they were in: Gemini, Aries, Aquarius, and Leo. And so this all took place, and then I guess we were thinking it was over. But now we realize that it definitely is not, and now there's an even more powerful, intense energy coming through what's called the handle of the basket, which is the opposition between Jupiter and Pluto. So this week we have the full moon on July 29th, where Jupiter has been joined by the Sun in Leo, and Pluto has been joined by the moon in Aquarius, creating this very powerful opposition. Jupiter and the Sun in Leo is all about me, my, being center stage, being in the highest expression of who I am. But the shadow side of that in the 31st gene key is arrogance. So just imagine you've got this performer on the stage, whether it be a politician, a celebrity, a member of the royal family, and they're performing for the audience, who are the collective, the Pluto moon in Aquarius. And then the collective is saying, no, we're not going to tolerate this. We're not going to tolerate this egotistical person on the stage. That's the shadow that we are now in. It wouldn't be at all surprising if some of those political leaders who are in that state were toppled during this time. What we truly want is the city of humility in the 31st gene key, where those natural leaders are operating on behalf of the collective rather than from their own benefit. Now, just before that took place, on July the 25th, we had the Mayan calendar dream spell Day Out of Time. That is a day that is left over from their lunar cycle, because they focus their energy on the 28 days, 13 moons, which is 364 days. So to keep in line with the Gregorian calendar, they have the final day to make the 365 on July the 25th each year. It's a day of reflection, looking back over the previous year. Then on July the 26th, there is a new symbol, a new glyph that comes in to be the theme for the following year, which is the red galactic moon. And that is all about harmonizing into our purity. It's about flow, it's about integrity, and it's about creating space. And what we all need to do is to let go of the compression of the 3D world in which we live and create space by releasing all the old stuff that we're no longer feeling connected with. This was a highly, highly potent initiation and awakening wave of consciousness coming through on the 26th of July, which we are now right in. Then we have that full moon on the 29th, that basket being reactivated, and that leads us into the 8-8 Lion's Gate, where we have this alignment between the Earth, Sirius, and the Sun, where Sirius rises with the Sun, and the Sphinx was built specifically to align with this particular situation, where Sirius and the Sun rise together on the eastern horizon. Then over the course of the end of July, beginning of August, Sirius rises above the Sun at dawn, and this is that moment when we have this deep and profound connection to higher consciousness, to the galactic energies streaming through Sirius and through our Sun. So this is a portal gateway, another activation. And then we move on to the 12th of August, where we have the total solar eclipse. Now, this total solar eclipse will not be visible in North America, except for a small portion in the northeast corner of Canada and America. It's mainly over the Arctic, Atlantic, Greenland, Iceland, Spain, and Portugal. Nevertheless, it's a total solar eclipse, which means that the moon moves between the Earth and the Sun, completely blotting it out. So what this is the opportunity for a still point. And as the Sun returns, it is a renewal of the energies of the Sun coming out. And we've just had the most massive solar flare of this period into history. So the Sun is really activating. So as it returns from behind the moon, we're going to be seeing a new Sun, bringing through these higher frequency energies. So this is another day when we have this wave of consciousness coming through. And these waves of consciousness are here to uproot any deep, dark shadows that reside within us that we don't even necessarily know about. So if you have any sensations, feelings of uncomfortable unease just coming up, just arising inside you, just realize this is a deep aspect of you that needs to be released. And just let it go. Don't hold on to it. Don't have any attachment to it. Just let it dissolve away out of your being. And this is the way you create space. And then these waves of consciousness will then be able to penetrate into you, and you'll have this beautiful sense of bliss and peace and harmony. And then moving forward to August the 27th, we've now moved out of Leo and into Virgo, and now we have a partial lunar eclipse. And what's really interesting about this is that on that day the Sun will be in the 59th gene key, line 6, and the Moon will be in the 55, line 6. And the 55, line 6 is the day that Richard Rudd talks about when the Sun illuminates that 55.6. It is when we will be fully embodying the new age of Aquarius. And that will take place in February 2027, around about the 24th. So this is where the moon is going to be on this lunar eclipse. So it's a great opportunity for us to look into the 59 and the 55. The 59 is all about dishonesty. So now we want to make sure that in our world we have no dishonesty, either within ourselves or with people in our field. We need to release people from our awareness who are dishonest or have hidden agendas. We need absolute transparent truth and honesty in the future. And the 55th shadow is victimhood. So now we want to make sure that we are no longer playing the role of victim. We need to let that go as well, whenever we're blaming, complaining, or comparing. And we pivot out of that and take full responsibility for our feelings. And so that will lead us then into the 55 city and gift, which is freedom. But recently Richard Rudd came out and said that he'd had an awareness that there'd been a whole shift in the whole gene key transmission, and that shift was coming through the 55th gene key. And he introduced a new word, and that new word was romance. So now in the gift and city of the 55 we have freedom and romance. And what he means by that romance is not the gooey hallmark romance. It's the real nitty-gritty, creating the best possible relationships that we can with those people closest to us in our lives. And then we will move together in freedom and that romance into the new earth energy coming in. It's clearly already happening. It's already started. And we just need to keep on keeping on what we're doing so that we can really embrace the new heaven on the new earth. This next few months are going to be the most powerful we've ever experienced. So it's really important to stay grounded, stay present, go within to do your inner work, and allow these blissful sensations to saturate your being. Have a great month.